Hey everyone, it's Classic DM, and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 5, The Frozen Lake of Bones. So, for this episode, we're going to cover a few little basics before we get right into the gameplay, okay? So, one of the first things we're doing is we've added a new way for players to make major decisions on the storyline. And there's lots of information about this on the Patreon site. And I'm just going to give you a quick little walkthrough of this first, and then we're going to jump right into the action where the party is. So one of the things about any kind of adventure when you're watching a lot of people play is in the characters, you get invested in the characters and you're interested in what's going on with the storyline and maybe even know the module from a long time ago when you ran it as a kid or played it as a kid as a player, is having a sense of involvement and engagement. When you watch a season of the Vikings, you want to know what happens to Lagatha or Ragnar and things like that. So what I decided to do is kind of do a system where we have major decisions in previous episode seasons, like in season 1, we're using a lot of charisma rolls to make these decisions. So what I've decided to do is turn those decisions over to you. So if you're watching the episode and then you just come to the Patreon page, you'll see there's polls. And this is an example of one we ran on the 20th, which is about a week or so ago. The party discovered a map, which is this map down here. And let's just give you a quick little overview of this. And remember, all this stuff is not behind a paywall. This is all completely free articles for you to read. It's a really good anchor point for you to keep up to date what's happening and what's about to happen next. The interface for me to post information is just super fast, really easy. So in the last episode, the party recovered a detailed map of the glacial rift, seemingly labeled in an ancient dwarven dialect like Dwargir, which is gray dwarf, but it kind of blended with gnomish accents for nouns, as one might find this deep gnome or Snivneblin tongue. Now, those are races from the Forgotten Realms, but in this situation, we're using a kind of a hybrid mixture of this. These were slave miners used for drow construction. So when they find this map that's got this writing on it, it looks kind of like this. Obscura and Tola can decipher it, but the labels seem to kind of reflect what's in the room or the area. So our party came down here and cleared this area out here. There's a bunch of giant guards here, and they went down this area and encountered a bunch of winter wolves that they tricked and took control of and charmed and made sure with the druid's abilities to send them away instead of killing them. And down here is where the ice blocks were, where they discovered a number of cool magic items, including this map. So from there, they retreated back to their base camp and decided, hey, what are we going to do? We had a number of options. So we ran a poll. Now, this is just the early days of the show, so we didn't have a lot of results yet. I'm still having trouble trying to get people from the Facebook groups to engage in this. That's because it probably requires too much effort. But if you're interested in the show and you think this kind of stuff is fun, like you've ever played any of the Telltale games where you get to choose what happens with characters and things like that, we're trying to capture that kind of a vibe. So we're trying not to do this during the show. We're trying to do this once the show's done, because that way someone could like miss the episode live and then see the episode on YouTube and have like a week to like get engaged. Say, hey, I think they should do this. I know this module. They should go here. For example, a couple of fellows on the Facebook groups were saying, oh goodness, I think they should go down to the southern part of the rift because they know what's down here. Now, if you know this module from the old days, you might think the same thing. Really fantastic stuff down this area, but our party doesn't know this. So we had, could you go due south down the narrow passage? That first option was to go down this way in here. Actually, they were camping in this room. The other option was go counterclockwise and clear the rift from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. So that means work their way all the way through here and start just going in and out of these individual chambers and just keep clearing and clearing and clearing. Remember, the ultimate motivation for the party is to recover the stolen child as a family member. And they are under the impression, from the knowledge they've gotten previously, that the drow have taken the child and are going to sacrifice it to Lolth. So they're kind of hot on the heels of whoever is moving that child, and giants seem to be in the ploy of this. So the other option was to work their way all the way down to here. And let's see, where do we have this other piece of information here? So they were trying to do, what you can do is you can go to the Patreon site and you can actually vote on what do you think the next story beat should be. Let's just pull some stuff up here again real quick. This will just take me a second. So if you haven't been engaging the storyline, be sure to do that, because what I'll try to do is at the end of every episode is I will post a branch. And if there's a branch, it's where you can say, hey, listen, I want them to go here. I want to see them fight this. I want to see them fight that. If you're not interested in that kind of stuff, you can say, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. So I want to give a chance for players to get involved in the show from the perspective of deciding what the actual characters do. Also, I'll post stuff on the website, like here's an example of all the steading of the Hill Giant Chief maps. I laid them out on the floor. I put this on Reddit the other day. So you can see the entire maps. These are all the rooms and all the maps that the players went through and everything. So let's go back here to our article about You Decide. Here we go. This is it here. So you'll see these articles like this. Let's just pull this over so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. There's where we were. So in this situation, they have this map in hand, and everyone that took a chance to vote voted, and 100% of the vote was go down to the frozen lake because I'm using the rift floor of the entire region as a lake. And let's just turn this little camera on here, which has the player map. And not go to the upper cliffs and go this way. So this is what everyone decided to do. So that's what we're going to do. So you're actually directing what's happening with the story on this this time as opposed to me. So that'll be really fun because now you have some control over what happens. So let's take a look at what we've got here. So on the right we have the actual map, the detailed map that they have, and what they decided to do. We're going to go over here. We're going to come over here to the camera page now. And so this is north. North is always top for you. And what they decided to do is go down to the rift floor and start exploring. So let's kick the gameplay off there. Now what's the situation at hand? Now when they arrived here it was dark and it became early morning. And the last episode it was like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So what we're going to run this at around 12 noon, okay? So around 12 noon it's still really, really hazy. There's a light snowfall happening in the rift. Remember, the bottom of this whole rift, the bottom of the whole glacial rift itself used to be a lake millions of years ago. So it's probably 20 feet thick of, this is all going to be just frozen ice. So it's nothing you're going to crack and fall through like in a G.I. Joe PSA announcement or anything or something from It's a Wonderful Life. But what you have jutting up from the bottom of this lake are these massive, huge, like stalagmite type rock formations. So it's not something where a glacier has carved its way through the rift and created the rift. It's like a rift that actually was filled up with water and then froze solid. The temperature in the region stayed solid so completely. So they decided to work their way down here. Now, the way that they're going to do this is what they've always done, is keep the monk and Elefanisi, and they'll just use her token up here too, and Varenjar, and just stealth up and get hide in shadows as best as possible. But it's kind of high noon, but it's behind a diffuse overcast sky. So it's really difficult to kind of hide in shadows. So they're going to try to focus on moving silently and using these rock formations to move further and further south. Now when they get down to about right here, they see this large dome. And what it really is, let's just do a crappy little sketch for you. You have this huge, massive, almost like something you would see in an igloo. In fact, there's a dome like this in Guild Wars. And I'm going to pull this out and let you see this in a little bit more detail. Let's pull this out like this. Okay, because we've got a map of that area above this. I'm just going to sketch on top of this for the time being. So let's imagine this is the ground plane here, and you got this massive big dome of frozen ice. It's not even snow, and this is about the size of someone standing next to it. So you got someone standing next to it, and here's the frozen lake. So this is probably like 20 feet tall, right? This is 20 feet. Just write this like this so you can read it. So this 20-foot tall dome of ice, and that is what they've come up upon. But as they get closer, they find this huge field of bones. There's piles of refuse and carcasses, and I'm going to pull these characters off here, and we're going to show you that detail map below because this is where our gameplay is going to kick off. And we're going to get right into the action. We're not going to waste any more time with overviews. So, first thing we have is Elefanisi and Varenjar sticking close together, moving in shadows as best they can, hiding shadows, but it's really not a lot of shadows to work with, but moving silently and staying with a heavy fog in this area. It's difficult to see. So in reality, it's probably harder to see further than this from where they are. So that's really about, this is 10, this is 20 feet. So what we're going to say is that wherever they are, they can only really see 20 feet away. But when they get to this spot here, something happens. All right? And the thing they see is that there's a number of huge, massive winter wolves rummaging through the bones in the bone pile, and they don't look exactly well fed. And they think they see some movement back over here, and they think, I'm just going to cover these up. These aren't dead, but I'm going to cover this up in the background. They see movement kind of like this, like rummaging through the pile. Imagine a bunch of hyenas doing this, rummaging through the pile, rummaging through the pile, rummaging through the pile, trippy trotting around this way, moving over through here, rummaging through the pile, going back down here around this. This is the large snow dome. So this is actually like a big dome. Imagine it be like a big arch like this. So we're just going to circle this like that. And they can't really see. Once you get beyond this distance here, it's like being in a car and driving a car and have a lot of fog. So this is really just kind of like shadowy figures. And when you see these guys here, they're turning this way and turning that way. And one thing I did recently is I asked a lot of folks in the old school players who are in the D&D groups on Facebook, say, hey, what do you like best? Do you like the tokens oriented the way the character is facing, or do you like the tokens turned so they're face up for you? So some people said they like the tokens turned, but I've decided to stick with the method here so you can tell which character is which because we verbalize who's facing who. So Elefanisi and Varenjar are about right here. Now the rest of the party is going to be up north, okay? So the rest of the party is up this way. Let's talk about the edge of this area as well. So right now, no one's been detected. No one's been concealed. They're probably 20 feet away from these winter wolves. I'm going to do a check for see if they could smell them yet. But what is this? So we have this. This is 150 feet up, almost a sheer cliff, 150 feet up to an upper, flat, sloping, frozen passageway with a big boulder jammed in the mouth of a cave. And all this stuff here, this is all solid mountain. So this is all solid mountain that goes all the way up to the sky. All this area beyond here is all solid mountain. So, and over here is another platform. This is another 150 feet above the rift floor, not the cave floor, but the rift floor, the lake floor. So this area here represents a huge drop off. Little speckles of dirt and debris and crumbly rocks have fallen down. So here's another cave mouth. And on the other side, we have kind of the same thing. We have a cave mouth here as well, and we have a cave mouth happening about here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cave mouths, but they're about 150 feet up. So they're not, that's pretty, that's, let's put it this way. Okay, a football field is 300 feet. So this is the 50-yard line. If you look up 50 yards, that's about how high this is. 50 yards is about 150 feet. So you have this massive, huge frozen ice dome. But over here, and we're going to clear the map off real quick. Let's clear some of this debris off so you can get back to a clearer view of what's going on. And we're just going to leave those winter wolf figures, tokens there so you can see. We'll get rid of this. There we go. So we have a Vrinjar and Elephantisi. We're going to put them about right here. Okay. All right. We got a little bit of glare here. Let's get that turned away. All right. So this area here, I'm going to move the winter wolves out of the way for a second. This area right here, what do we got? This is a massive heaping pile of huge frost giant, mastodon, winter wolf, human, dwarven, all kinds of yetis. This is all skulls and rancid carcasses. In fact, it's been frozen over and then snowed and frozen and rained on and sleet and frozen, so it has all this icicles and stuff's protruding, and it's just a massive pile. And it looks like it's been rummaged through and kind of torn apart a lot and frequently. Now, it doesn't look like a refuse pile. So you don't see any like old broken tankards or ceramics or anything like that. But what you do see is just carcass after carcass after carcass. And these winter wolves are basically scavenging in it. Now, what do we got right here? This is a large rock that's about 20 feet tall. So what Elephantisi and Vrinjar are going to do, they're going to move and use the rock so they can just barely peek around here and have a line of sight and see what's going here. And they're just going to observe for a few seconds. Elephantisi and they can whisper to each other super quietly. Because, you know, when it's snowy like this and a little bit of drifting wind, you have enough kind of background sound to kind of cover what you're trying to do. So this is a big, massive rock. And since there's no real shadows or anything, so this huge rock is kind of blocking the line of sight. So she can peek around this way and he can peek around that way. This is the only one that's close enough. This is 10, 20 feet to maybe pick up on them. Now what I'm going to do, the rest of the party's up a little bit. We're just going to, the rest of the party's up north, maybe 50, 60 feet away. We're going to do a little check for this guy right here to see if he smells, okay, Vrinjar. Now what we're going to do on the right-hand side here is let's just bring up the character sheets again. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but Vrinjar made out like a bandit. There was a belt of a girdle of fire giant strength. And the girdle of fire giant strength is just completely amazing. It gives him additional 7,500 pound weight limit. That's incredible. That's almost like a huge 4x4 truck weight limit, a big diesel one. It gives him additional 10 to his damage roll. Now he was 1848 in the first place, so he already had a really nice damage bonus. But we've updated his character sheet. This is something that patrons and players voted on as well. It didn't even have a paywall behind it. Like you could vote who got the loot. And so in this situation, his damage output is nasty. And in fact, I wrote a quick article to explain what his maximum potential quad damage, backstab damage on a humanoid is well over 250, which is extremely powerful. Now, you need a character like that every now and then when things get really nasty. But right now, if he's okay, he doesn't get hit, he doesn't get detected, he's going to be a real one-shotter. So that's very, very fun for the assassin. They also received a map of the lower caverns, but for the purposes of this show, they're not focusing on that. They're just focusing on the map of the area where they are now. We'll get this little racer out of the way. So we need to do a check of the winter wolf versus Vrinjar. So let's just pull up a quick little snapshot of what that's going to be like. So let's pull up a winter wolf. Now, a winter wolf is not a magical creature. It's just a normal monster. And when you're playing your game, whether you're playing Pathfinder or 3.5 or you're playing the classic first edition, which I just totally love. It's just so simple and fun, just really gets on with it. Or you're loving the new 5th edition. There's so many different ways to handle those kinds of things. But one of the fun things about D&D is that if you use some common sense, you've got enough statistics and stuff to work with. So let's just pull this up. This is the old D&D first edition entry for a wolf. And you see right down here is a winter wolf. The winter wolf is a hard creature. Aren't they always hard? It's a hard carnivore that inhabits chilly regions. Now, we've met them before in this adventure, right? The savage jaws, they can howl and blast a frozen type of a howl like 10 feet away from them. Remember, the 1-inch marker here in the first edition means 10 feet, okay? It does frost damage. It's almost like a cone of cold, which is one of the magic user spells. They're pretty nasty, but other than that, they're only attacking one time per round. Now, if you remember the setting of the Hill Giant Chief, we had cave bears. Remember the cave bears? The cave bears were attacking 3 times a round. That's really nasty. It was like claw, claw, bite, claw, claw, bite. So the Hill Giants were employing a lot of those cave bears to help protect things for them. But with the winter wolf, you just have a bite damage. So they're not really clawing. They're like a canine, like a Siberian Husky, but a huge one. They're like 10 feet long, and the shoulder of a winter wolf is probably 6 to 7 feet tall. It's taller than a door in your house. So they're really, really huge. They're not considered gigantic, and they move really, really quickly. I don't know if you remember, but Eliphanisi, she has a really fast movement rate, and everyone else is 12. Notice how over here is 12. This is a per round movement rate in the original edition, which means you can move 120 feet in one 60-second round of combat, but we use segments, so we change that around a little bit. If you look at the winter wolves, their movement rate is really quick as well. Let's go to the Eliphanisi real quick, give you a snap of her. So her movement rate's 24, so she moves twice as fast as any other character in the party. And that's one of the benefits of being a monk, right? Because she's very light, doesn't wear any armor, she's not encumbered, but even at that, she still moves faster than a winter wolf. Think about that for a minute, okay? But a winter wolf, this is their home environment. There's no slippery ice to deal with. You're not going to have to make any dex checks against sliding on the ice. So if a winter wolf were to come and charge her, she could probably turn and run away from it and maybe kite it away, but I'd make her do some dex checks against the ice. Now let's get back to that sniffing check, right? How do you want to do a sniffing check for something like this? So one thing I like to do is take a look at their intelligence. Now, if you see a regular wolf or a dire wolf or a warg, they have standard intelligence, right? Semi or semi-low. So that means they're kind of dumb. They're kind of like animal intelligence. Well, look at a winter wolf carefully here. Let's just highlight that with the mouse. Average, okay? That's better than Forrest Gump, right? So average intelligence means this is a very conniving, smart creature. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say this thing has, that these creatures have 9 intelligence, and I'm going to roll a d20, right, a d20, and if we roll 9 or less, they get a scent of something, because 20 feet is not far away. It's only 15 feet from the free throw line to the rim of a basketball goal, all right? But we're just going to do it for this guy here. So let's just clear off this right here. You ready for the roll? Let's do a red one for the baddies. 9 or less. A 13. Okay, so when their wolf still keeps scavenging and keeps doing its thing, now what I want them to do, they keep moving and shuffling around because they're looking for something to eat. So we're going to see which way he goes. 1 to 3 is 1 to 3 is going to go back around this way, move closer to Vrinjar, and 4, 5, and 6 he's going to move this way and then just kind of shuffle the other fellow out of the way. So okay, so he's going to move over this way and start shuffling so Vrinjar can't see him anymore. Now I'm going to give movement to this guy here. All right, so he's actually going to stay back where he is, so he's staying beyond the line of sight of the fog line. Remember, this dashed line here is going to be our fog line. This is a computer game. This would be so much easier to do, but I'm trying to make it come alive for you like Baldur's Gate. So we've got these winter wolves here. How about this one here? 1 to 3 will go east, because remember, north is top for you. And 4, 5, 6 is going to go work their way kind of circular through the pile. They're not climbing on top of the pile. They just seem to be scavenging around the bottom. Okay, so there's a 4. So this winter wolf's going to move down this way, and they're kind of concentrating on things down here. So they haven't sniffed them, and they're further away. This is a good opportunity, I think, for Vrinjar to slip back and tell the rest of the party what's up ahead. And we're going to continue this kind of behavior. These guys, every 18 seconds to a melee round, are going to make a movement position change, right? And there doesn't really seem to be anything going on with this. And so they go back to the rest of the party, and they have a conversation. And I'm just going to pull them. I'm going to put the party right here for you real quick, all right? So you have Mercedes, who's the leader, and then you have Zalaris, then you have the Druid, Faoltiarna, then you have Bascura, the Illusionist, then you have Antola. So this group of 5 is up north. So Vrinjar's going to have a quick conversation with them. The problem with the Winter Wolves is the frontal cone breath. Now the Druid would campaign immediately up to a method of let me talk to them, okay? So she's going to do the same technique she had before, And so he's going to kind of give Elefanicia a hand signal, and she's going to slip back off of screen. So the druid's going to try a trick that she did before. Now, if you've ever played a druid, you know they can shapeshift one time per day. So what she's going to do is she's going to shapeshift herself. And we just clear this off because you'll need to see herself into a winter wolf. All right, and she's going to try and match the look of the ones that they talked to earlier. And then she's going to approach down this area here as a female, okay, not as a male, not to be combative. And then she can look from a distance what these other winter wolves are doing, and she's going to make sure she looks just like a member of their clan. These other winter wolves look to be lower on the totem pole than the winter wolves that were in one of the caverns that they were fighting in earlier. I just pull this map up for you real quick. So previously, in this room right here, let me just zoom the camera in so you can see a little bit better. Let's just pull this in for you. There we go. You may remember this room here. In fact, I got the map right here. We did an episode where the party was investigating the first few caves of the whole complex, and it came across this massive group of winter wolves. And there was a mated pair, and there was a number of females. And Faoltiarna was able to shapeshift into a winter wolf and warn the other winter wolves about drow coming, or evil black-skinned ones. And they fell for it. And they left the area and went to a cave to hide out. And she said she would come get them. So she's going to do a similar tactic here to befriend this group. So we'll forget about that map. So that was happening down here. Let's go back to the map and let's get to the action. So the shapeshifting, it doesn't really require a check. What we're going to do is we're going to put the druid on screen like this. And have her, I'm going to put this gray marker on her, okay? And I'm going to pull the map back out so you can see it good. Let's pull that map out nice here. There we go. So the druid, there's the druid. She's shapeshifted as a winter wolf. I'm going to have her come very quietly and calmly in a non-threatening way, come to the edge of the bone pile. Now, when animals are going for it, and if you ever watched the African wild kingdom hyenas, when there's pack behavior and everyone's scavenging, every wolf is kind of in it for themselves. She's basically going to observe and see if she can tell whether there's an alpha male in this group. All right? Now, the best way to do that kind of stuff is really just kind of a wisdom check. When you're a druid and you understand the animal kingdom, remember, she can speak with animals and plants. She's immune to charm. She can shape change one time per day. She speaks tiger, nomad, hill giant, horse, wolf, and tiger, eagle, and woolly mammoth. She speaks wolf. So the dialect of the winter wolf is something she'll be able to pull off. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give her a wisdom check. So she's got 12 strength, 14 intelligence, 17 wisdom. So basically what we're going to do, these are kind of a made-up rule I use. I make you roll against your ability score, but I make you do it on a d20, because when you roll your ability scores, you're only using 3d6. So there's still a 10% chance you'll fail. And then it's also modified by the fact that you're rolling against your own ability score. So in this situation, she only needs to roll a 17 or less. This is just determined if there's an alpha male. So she makes this check fine, but there isn't an alpha male. And this one actually comes trippy trotting up here. And that's actually a verb. And the other one comes around here. And let's see what kind of reaction we get. So Faoltiarna has high charisma. That's a 15 charisma with a plus 15% reaction adjustment. Because of her savvy and her level as a druid, I'm going to give her a base 50% chance to understand how to behave like a winter wolf and be non-threatening and non-committal and fit in as another scrub in the pack. Okay? So we're going to do a percentile check here. So we're going to give her a 50% chance. We'll give the extra 15% chance. 65% chance or less on percentile die means none of these winter wolves have copped on that something about her is odd. Okay? 78. So she fails that check. So that means this winter wolf's going to come over here, and when one wolf moves, the other one moves closer, and they're going to come over here and kind of growl and snarl at her. So what we want to do now is we want to kind of do a reaction check to see whether they buy. And the good way to do that, really, to be perfectly honest with you, is kind of a saving throw versus magic. Let's just pull this old the saving throw thing chart out here for monsters, okay? You pull it up here. So the way the saving throws work in the first edition, you use it versus fighter. So the winter wolves are, we got a little sheet here we made for these things are fantastic, right? Here's all your winter wolves. They're all 50 hit points. Let's turn it this way so you can see it. So they're hit dice 6, which isn't really huge. But you can look over here on the right-hand player pane, and you got a HD 6, hit dice 6, and you're trying to make a saving throw. This is attack matrix, sorry. Let's get the saving throw matrix. Here we go. Armor class. Saving throw will be down below. That's assassin. That's attack matrix for hit dice. Here we go. Saving throws. Fighter, right? Now, it's not paralyzation, poison, or death magic. It's not petrification, polymorph. It's not rod, staff, and wand. It's a spell. And it's kind of like saving against charm. So you're level 6, fighter, you need a 14 or higher to save versus spell. Now, I'm going to give these guys this chance to do that, but I'm going to also give them a penalty. And the penalty is going to come from the fact that her level. So I'm going to take her level 11, and I'm going to give them a penalty of 11 to save versus this check. That's very generous. That's because she's a very experienced. She's initiate of the 8th circle. Okay, so for them to save against this. In fact, let's do it even more fair. Let's make the difference between the levels. So they're level 6, hit die 6. She's level 11. That's 5. So let's give them a negative penalty of 5. So normally they'd only need a 14, but if you add 5, that means they need a 19 or higher. So we got 3 winter wolves right next to her. Let's see if they sniff her out and can tell that she smells like human, or can smell her wooden shield or anything else, because you can shapeshift, but it doesn't change what you smell like that much, right? So we're going to roll all 3 of these. If any of these are 19, her illusion, they don't believe it, and they might actually just try to attack her as if she's a weird wolf. They don't understand that she's a druid and won't knock her out of the illusion. So looking for these 3 here. If anything here, in fact, I'll roll it down here. If any of these are 19, the game's up. 2, 5, and 12. So she's safe for now. So they sniff her, they check her out, and they're still convinced she doesn't do anything threatening. Maybe she does something kind of shy, and they don't believe it. So then she can start engaging in a conversation with these. So I don't like to role play out these type of situations, but let's just outline it like this. Point number 1, right? Point number 2, point number 3. Point number 1 is, have you found anything, right? So it's talking about things, like what helps her understand what's going on with the pile. Number 2, where's the leader? And is there any danger here, right? You can't even read that. So 3 points. So we're going to do another check against her wisdom here to see whether she can be convincing as she's talking to these. Let's put this here on top of them. She's going to chat casually over the course of a turn, 10 minutes of time. She can save shapeshifter for a long time to converse with the other wolves casually and naturally to find out this information. So is there anything that they're looking for, right? All right, so that's a 2. So she gets that answer. They're just looking for food before it comes back. That's what they had to say to her, okay? They've got to do it quickly before it comes back. That prompts her to ask another question. Ask them, well, what is it? All right, and let's just do this as a, we don't need this up here anymore. Let's do this as another saving throw check for them. So let's see if they are convinced by her question, because it started being a little prying. So remember we said a 19. If they roll a 19 or higher, they don't buy it. So they fall for that. They say it's the evil centipede. Okay, the evil bug, the hot bug. Those are the words that they're talking about, and they actually make body motions that look down this way. So you notice that some of the other wolves come onto the screen, and they're sipping on this side too. And some of them every now and then kind of come down here and take a look, and watch. And they seem to be very intently watching this depression back here. So Faoltiarna's got one more question she's going to ask, and she's asking, who's the leader, right? So let's just do this. If they roll 19 or higher, they don't buy it. So they believe that question. That was a 7. So she realizes that there's no leader. They're trying to get food, and they're worried about the hot centipede bug thing coming back. Now, Faoltiarna doesn't know what that is. Okay, you might know what it is because you're a D&D player, but they don't know what that shit is. So I would have Faoltiarna's going to come down here where this wolf is and investigate and engage in a little, almost like a Lion King Disney conversation with the other wolf, and see what happens here. So let's make this harder now. They believe her and they're convinced who she is, but let's make it a percentile check, a charisma check. So for Faoltiarna, her charisma is 15%. Let's give a 65% chance or less, and she can ask one question. One question is, what's up with this? Excuse me. Now let me explain it to you as a player. If you're sitting at the table, what is this? So remember, you got the big ice dome happening here, going up. It's almost got a little cave mouth in here. This is like a sinkhole. So it looks like the whole lake is just kind of sloshed down. It's partially melted. There's actually a black hole that goes down in here, and it's full of snow. So imagine you've had a dog playing in a big pile of snow, and they emerge from the snow. So this is like some kind of thoroughfare. Something's come up out of the snow and then gone back down the snow. So it's almost like you ever been to the beach and see where little crabs dig little holes in the sand, make little tunnels? So this kind of feels like a little tunnel. It doesn't really look like something that's been frozen over and refrozen and solid. So this wolf is like, it goes down there and comes back, right? Let's do another check for this. Let's make sure that question gets answered. So 65% or less on this percentile die. Okay, 14. That's a 10 and a 4. That's 14. So the question is that whatever it is they're worried about, it comes out of here. Right, so we're going to redeem. We're going to do a little check in the background here. I'm going to let you see the roll and see if you can tell what it is. If it's 15 or higher, there's trouble. 13, lucky. Okay. So Faoltiarna is able to now go around here and investigate some more of this. Let me clean this up a little bit because it's getting a little messy with chicken scratches. So she's over to go here, and let's put her here with the marker with that magnet on her. The other wolf kind of watches this way. And I've told you this is a dome 100 times, so you got the fact that's a dome. And we don't need this line of sight fog line anymore. In fact, we don't need any of these markings. Let's keep it clean for you. There you go. So all the wolves are just rotating around, pillaging for something to eat. This guy gives up because he believes that you're watching now, and he goes watching here. Remember, 150 above, 150 above, 150 above. So she looks at this, and it looks like what we have here, like I was saying about a crab digging a hole in the sand, that we have this tunnel, and this goes down. So what she's going to try to do is see if she can detect, is there anything down there, is there anything moving down there. So I'm going to make her roll against her intelligence this time, not wisdom. So her intelligence is only 14. So if she rolls 14 or less, she can detect something if there is something. Okay? So it seems like there's some movement down there, but it's really, really far. And what kind of a sound is it? So I'm going to give her a penalty of 5 to determine what the sound is. I'm going to take this off until we so you can keep track of her. In fact, if you want to keep it super clear, let's just use her druid icon. Okay, we'll just keep this to the side here for reference over here by the north arrow. So she's trying to. She's not a rogue. She's not an assassin. She's not a monk. She's trying to hear noise. Now, how to do that? I usually do that as against your intelligence or your primary stat. In this situation, she needs to use her intelligence and wisdom. Now, the wisdom is higher for her. She got a 17 wisdom. But I'm going to give her a penalty of 10, okay? Because the sound is far away. It's down a hole. It's kind of, there's some wind blasting and things like that. So she can roll a 10 or less, then she can tell what the sound is down there, okay? You ready? A 6, okay. So it sounds like many, many scuttling, thick claws scuttling across stone cave floor, and there's the sound of crunching ice down below going, and it sounds like the sound is moving around over here, and then it's down over here, and it's maybe, let's say, 50 feet below this. Now she can't see in here, it's just too black. So it's moving around, it's moving over to here, and then a few minutes, second later, the sound moves over here, and then the sound kind of comes directly underneath her and moves under here. So what she can deduce is that this opening goes down and there's a cavern underneath here. So she's been here for a while. It's time to kind of get back out. But she's under no immediate danger. So she's going to go back here, and let's get her back into wolf form. Not that she dropped out of it, it's just so you could tell. I'm going to have her go back here, and she's going to tell these guys, the other fellows, like, I'll be right back. I'm going to go pee or something like that, right? So she's going to zip off this way. Now what she's going to do is she's going to approach the party and go up to the party and say, listen, here's what's happening. We've got a pack of low-level males, okay, and females, a mixed bag, scavenging for food from a huge, massive pile of frozen bones. There's some kind of massive centipede, carrion crawler, or something like that that's gone down into a hole to scavenge. It's probably huge, and they're worried about when it comes back, they're all going to flee and run away. So they've zipped in here like hyenas to scavenge real quick, and they keep kind of nervously checking for it. So what's the plan going to be? So let's do the plan this way. Mercedes is going to say, well, can you make the wolves leave? Or should we just kill them? And she knows the druid would never let that happen. She says, can you have the wolves help us? If there's something that's a carrion crawler or some kind of scuttly centipede monster or frost worm or something like that, can the wolves help us? She's like, well, we could try that. The odds of that helping us is pretty low. But if we're going to do that, I really want you guys to be close at hand because I don't want to get cornered by 7 winter wolves and get blasted and frozen to death. She's like, okay, so let's do it like this. So Mercedes says this. Let's get you 2 stealthers, Eliphanisi and Vrinjar. Let's make sure you're completely hidden up. We're going to give you 10 minutes to get completely concealed. Move yourselves into position down here. We'll use the rock as a choke point, and if things go bad, you run back this way, and then Vrinjar and Eliphanisi can come behind you, and we'll choke them at this point here. So that's her plan. But the first plan is to try to convince, this is the choke point or kill zone. The plan is to convince the other winter wolves to help them against the thing that's in there, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to have the druid is going to come back down to here, And she says, and tell these other guys, these other wolves, systematically that, hey, listen, I've got an idea. I have human friends that have helped me, and the names of the mated pair from episode 2 of season 2. They'll help you fight the beast down here. Then we can eat as long as we want. Let's see if they buy that. Now let's make this hard. Okay, that's a pretty risky statement. These are skittish and scared winter wolves. They have tremendous fear and respect. They know what's in here. You don't know what's in here. And let's have them do that. Now, while she's having that conversation, let's get a hide and shadows check and move silently check for Vrinjar. So for Vrinjar, hide and shadows is HS is 75%. Okay, you see that's right down here. And then move silently is MS is 88. So let's get his check for hide and shadows. I will let him do it twice until he nails it. So here's his first one. Whoops. A 41, so he's completely concealed, right? That's 41. We'll leave the 47, excuse me. We'll leave that there for you to see. And then his move silently is 88. 31, so he's completely concealed and able to systematically, slowly but surely move down to right here. And he's not going to chance his arm getting any closer, and I will do a scent check as well. And we'll just unhighlight this kill zone, okay? Right, okay. Now, Elephantisi's got to do her check. Now, since they're doing this what I would call out of the field of battle or nowhere nearby for the threats to find you, when they come on screen, I might make a check for her. Let's see what she can do. Can she pull off the same kind of thing? Vrinjar leveled up last season. So for her, her thief abilities are down here. So for her to move silently, it's 83%, and her hide and shadows is 68. So let's do here's Elephantisi's hide and shadows check. That's a 12. So she easily conceals herself. And that's 100. And that is so rare for that to happen. Can you see this? I'll just zoom into it real quick for a laugh. Right here it is, right here. 00000. It's the end of the world. This means you flubbed this roll so terribly that everyone around you thinks you are concealed. You're not concealed at all. So you're not moving silently at all. Now she did the concealment. This one was the hide and shadow. So she's concealed, but she's making noise. So that means such a terrible flub type behavior that you think you're completely silent and you're not. No way in the devil. And you have to play it that way. You have to continue to play it that way. I'm not going to let you get out of it. So Vrinjar moves down here, but as she's coming down here, she makes noise. These two winter wolves hear the noise. I'm going to give them a chance to detect her with a scent roll, right, which we did with the intelligence, and also give them a line of sight check distance and see if she can do a hide and shadows check. So let's do 3 things. So we're going to do 3 things. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do a scent check because if you were a winter wolf and you heard noise, you would try to sniff it out and see if you could smell something weird. Remember, she's not shape changed or anything. She's going to smell like a monk, whatever that smell is. The second thing she's going to check for is, do they see her? Smell, see. Obviously, they've heard her. And last one, I'm just going to say, do they detect her? All right. Now, if you're playing 3.5, there's checks for this kind of stuff called spot and listen. We don't have that in first edition. In first edition, we have to kind of make that up and do some rolls. So here's how I'm going to do it. Because she's not moving silently, we're going to do the scent check first. Now, remember how we talked about the intelligence level of these guys, that they were winter wolves? Let's pull this back up in front of the screen for you. Winter wolves, they're intelligent, they're neutral evil, their intelligence is average. And I said they had an intelligence of 9. So in order for them to smell her, they need to roll a 9 or less on a D20. Okay. Now, if they had high intelligence, like 18, it'd be easier. But since it's low intelligence, so let's do the scent check here. And we'll do it with a red D20, make it easier to see what it is. If I can find it. Those are percentiles. Here we go. Here's the D20. So you ready? 9 or less, they smell her. Okay. Ooh, a 14. Okay, so they think they whiffed the wind, but there's enough air moving around. They don't really tell it. Remember, they can't see her, but we're going to give them a chance to detect her as if it's a spot check like in 3rd edition. So basically what I'm going to have her do is I'm going to have her re-roll hide and shadows, but I'm going to give her a -10 penalty. All right, and the reason why you're getting a penalty here means that her hide and shadows is what? Her HS is 68%. Now, she's already hidden in shadows, but I'm going to make it even harder. So I'm going to lower the percentile check for her. That means that she has to roll 58 or less to maintain hide in shadows. This is probably going to be nasty. Ooh, a 19. That's very, very lucky. Things could have gone very nasty there because once the alarm goes up, it's game over for that. The detection just gets spread like wildfire. So they don't smell her. They don't see her. Do they detect her? Now, is that really something we should do? She's maintained concealment. They don't smell her. They heard something. They looked up. I think this is necessary. I think she did such a great job with that. She's okay. So Elephantisi is here. Vrinjar could actually whisper her that she made noise or use hand signals. All right. So The druid, which is over here with the gray, she's going around and trying to convince all the other ones to trust her humanoid friends. So she's already gained their confidence. They think she's a member of the pack. She can use reference. She can name drop the mated pair and say that, whatever their names were, they call them Tongo and Wango. So she can say, Tongo and Wango said that I could be able to help you. My humanoid friends are here to help, that the dark elves are coming, that we could defeat this terrible creature here. And let's see if they buy it. So here's a good way to do that. These winter wolves, you would never convince them to fight what's in here. They have enough numbers to already do it, but they're also scrubs. They're not going to be inspired by some winter wolf coming and say, hey, my friends. But when they mention humanoids, they're very leery of that because they're evil, okay? So let's make this very, very hard to succeed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give her her wisdom bonus, right, which is +3. Look over here on the side. She's 17 wisdom +3 to convincingly convince the pack that her humanoid friends aren't enemies. Let's do it again. So item number 1, friends, okay, which is a +3 check on that versus her wisdom roll. Second of all, will you help us defeat the creature, which is like join forces. So how are we going to do that? So to convince everyone, it's like a charisma check, so really probably needs a percentile die check. So let's give her a base 50% for her charisma, and another 15% for her reaction adjustment. So 65% chance to convince the group that these humanoids are her friends, okay? And they're going to be your friends. They're not here to hurt you. That's pretty huge. These guys are already going to be intimidated. To convince them that these humanoids are going to help them, maybe, maybe not. They know the giants don't really bother them much, but let's give it a fair shake. 65% chance, right? If you roll 65 or less on this, she's able to convince them. If she doesn't win the roll, doesn't mean they're going to attack her or anything. Just means they don't believe you. Okay, here you go. Here's the roll. 48. So they believe her. Well, they say, yes, okay, that would be great. We could use the help. If your friends are powerful, and she's, oh yes, my friends are very powerful, and they're friends with the frost giants, and we come from this area, and the mated pair and I are good friends, and all this kind of stuff. You can just bluff and bluff and bluff and use all the information she gathered from talking to other winter wolves to convince them. So they're convinced that the humanoids are their friends. Now, when that happens, she can like give a sly wink to the two over here who are concealed, who can actually motion for the rest of the group to move down. So here's Mercedes and here's Zolaris, and we'll put Obscura in the back. Now you may not be able to see everyone's on screen here, so let me adjust the camera to get people on screen better. So this will just give me a second. So let me just go over here to OBS and just pull this up a little bit. If we can do that. We may need to move the camera actually physically. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to do it this way. I'm actually going to just good old-fashioned tilt the camera manually. So prepare for some earthquake jittery business. All right, you're going to have a little bit of light glare, but I'll fix that. All right, we're just going to turn this light off for a minute. Turn this light off for a minute. A little bit of darkness. And here's how we're going to do it. So you got this cavern wall going down. Here's more of the cliff. Here's more lines of the cliff. Here's the cavern wall here. Here's the rest of this, so you can see more, right? And here's the rest of the party. They can actually have the druid is over here. This is actually the druid. Obscura's in the back. Here's Antola. Mercedes and Zolaris move to the choke point. You've got Eliphanisi and Vrinjar in position. The druid's here. Obscura's going to stay in the back. This is all just more frozen ice. This is all frozen ice here. And don't forget, you get this big block here. So they've been convinced of that. Now, will she be able to convince them that they're not going to react to this? Now, what they would do is they'd come over and take a look. So some of them are going to come over here, and maybe this is kind of like a crowd gathering around the police officer. Who will you arrest this person for? So they're all going to come here. They're very keenly interested in this, and she's going to come over here and introduce everyone. So everyone just acts normal. No one gets too excited, and the winter wolves believe this whole story that she's told. She's very lucky. Very, very lucky. Very inventive, very lucky. Big experience bonus for pulling this off. Now, the next argument is, will you join forces? Now, here's how I want to do this. I'm going to still do it as a charisma check for Faoltiarna, because she's having to be the one doing all the negotiating, the talking. The humans are not. The humans don't smell like winter wolf blood. They don't have anything about them that's intimidating. They don't smell like food. And they're very hungry. In fact, she could even convince them that they could give them food to help them, and then we could fight a big battle against the creature. So while they're doing all that, the winter wolves can say, well, we don't want to fight them because of this, that, and the other. The creature is this. The creature does that. So what kind of information would they get from that? And then they'll see whether there's a join forces result. So let's do that this way. I'm going to tell you, if you're the player sitting at my table, give me a d20 roll. And based on what that d20 roll is, I'm going to give you information based upon 4 ranges. 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, 16 to 20. So 4 rolls. 1, 2, 3, 4. Unmodified for the party. Okay, 15. So I've got something on my sheet. I'm going to tell you what they're going to tell you. This is what the wolves will say back to you. Okay? That the ice worm can kill a wolf and swallow them in one bite, and they burn. If you try to bite the ice worm, it'll burn you, and we've had many have died. So if you're going to fight it, can your friends protect us from their ice? We've even tried, I've had many friends try to blast the ice worm with our frozen howl, and it hurts it, but it's not enough to kill it. It's too powerful. How are we going to be able to fight and kill this thing together? So what Faoltiarna has to do is convince them of how powerful everyone is. So she'll talk about this magical user. The Obscura has magical powers, and she can summon illusions that will trick the beast that something else is attacking it. She says, we don't believe you. How do you do that? So Obscura can now cast a little spell to prove that she's able to do this. Remember, Obscura is our level 10, excuse me, I think she's 11. She's our level 11 illusionist. So what she can do is she could cast something like, Shadow Monster, right? She's like, and the druid has to talk to her, but she could kind of whisper in Backloonish out of the corner of her mouth to say, cast an illusion that really convinces them how powerful you are. She said, I'm a powerful illusionist. So she pulls out this Shadow Monster spell and casts this huge, ugly, big black beast. Now let me pull that up in the player's handbook for you. This is one thing that's about the first edition. It's really neat. The illusionist class has a lot of cool stuff in it. And let me just show this to you firsthand since you're following along, because you may not know these rules. You may not know these original spells. Let's pull this up here. Okay. Here we go. Where are we at? Let's pull that off there. I'll put this over here. Okay. Let's get rid of this. Let me slide over here so I can navigate better. Let me put this on the screen so you can see. There's the original. This is a PDF you can purchase from Drive-Thru RPG, Drive-Thru RPG. And let's go find the spells. We'll just jump right to the spells, and we'll go find the spell right away. Spell casting and illusionist. And this is what level spell is that for her? So for her, that is a level 4. It's called Shadow Monster. All right. And I would have the player pull this up. And this is level Prismatic Spray. This is Encumbrance. This is 7th. So we're looking for 4, right? 5th. There we go. Shadow Monsters right down here. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Make this 100%. So we're looking right down here, right? Let's look right down here for a minute. The Shadow Monster spell enables the illusionist to create a semi-real phantasm of one or more monsters. The total hit dice of the Shadow Monster or monsters created cannot exceed the level of experience of the illusionist. So she's level 11, right? Isn't she 11? So she's level 11 illusionist. So she could create an 11 hit die creature that's a fantastical creature. Remember, semi-real phantasms. The Shadow Monsters created by one spell must be of some sort of race, like Hobgoblin, Orc, Specters. They had 20% of the hit points they would normally have. So in this situation, she's going to have to be creative. So what she's going to do is she's going to say she has the power over... she's done Drow illusions before, so I'm going to have her... Let me take this light out of the way. She's going to create a Shadow Monster of a Drow Priestess again, which is an illusion she's done in the past. But instead of it looking like a regular Drow, let me get these lights turned a little bit. We're going to put this here like this. It would look like a phantasm shadow creature version of it. So let's say that she does that. Let's get a token for that, right? So we're just going to use this little blue magnet. So she can summon this Drow Priestess. Now, it doesn't look like a normal Drow Priestess. What it would look like instead, let's pull everyone down so we can get this on screen. It would look like this shadowy visage, and she's controlling it and moving her hands, and she's giving some real showmanship here. So I'm going to give these Winter Wolves a saving throw versus spell to see if they disbelieve it. They probably aren't going to disbelieve that at all. The way to do a saving throw versus spell in my game is a little bit different than it is in the original book, because in the original book they say just save versus disbelief. Now, it's not really explained very well. So these guys are 6 hit dice fighters. To save versus spell is only a 14. I'm going to make them they're going to have to roll a 17 or higher to disbelieve this illusion. In fact, I'm going to make it an 18 or higher. So let's roll 4 dice for all the ones in the vicinity. If there's an 18 or higher, they don't believe the illusion, okay? Nope, 14, 7, 8, and 11. So they're completely convinced that the illusionist Obscura is able to summon and control this magical drow priestess. So for them, it's like, wow, check that out. She's very powerful. That's really fantastic. That gives a bonus for Faoltiarna to finish her conversation and her argument to say, see how powerful my friends are? We can defeat the creature. They say, well, the creature does this, the creature does that, and they go back and forth. And so Mercedes like, listen, let's get on with it. When does it come back? So they said, well, if you make noise near the sinkhole, the frozen sinkhole, it will hear you and come back, but I'm not going down there, so your powerful friends can draw it out. And the other wolves, yeah, that's right, you draw it out. So the other wolves kind of get into this back line position. So Vrenjar and Elefanisi start sliding down here, and then Mercedes and Zollers come to here, and then Tola and Obscura come here, and here's our little drow priestess illusion on top of the... and Mercedes like, what do you want to do? And the wolves like, yeah, it comes out of there. If you can make it come out of there and pull it out, draw it out, we'll be able to fight it, and we'll come charging in and help you. Now, they may be telling us a bluff story here. So Vrenjar, they said, what should we do? If we come over here and fight it, this thing, whatever it is, will come flying out of this hole. What's underneath this ice dome? We haven't checked that out yet. So Elefanisi offers to run and check this out. So she's going to come into here and go peek in here. And I'm going to have her do a quick little search check. Now, for Elefanisi, this is just a visual spot check. Now, when you're find and remove traps is a good way to do this. It's not, remember, this is not 3.5 or 3.0. There's no spot or listen check. So this is kind of like a layer. This is like full of all kinds of a big burning pile of snow that something has curled up like a large snake and curled up in a big ball and curled and tucked its nose in. So you can tell it's not just ice, that there's been snow shoveled into here to make it nice and soft, and then it curls up in a little ball. Imagine a dog curled up in a little ball on your sofa. So find and remove traps for her to detect and find anything in here. All right, that's a 45. So her find and remove traps is only, what, 65? So she finds some things in here. And this is very, very fun. This is actually an interesting twist. I didn't think this was going to happen. So as she's searching around, she finds the following things. She finds that there's a corpse lying on the ground that has a ring on it. Let's just say it looks like this, right? This big, beautiful ring. And then there's also a huge sword, a huge long sword. So it's a beautifully ornate, silvery long sword as well. And it looks like the sword was in the hand of something that's been killed and devoured, but dragged into the corner. So you have a sword, and you have a little ring, and you have a bunch of corpses, and some goodies are dragged into this corner. So for whatever reason, the creature that lives in this lair thinks these things are special, almost like they're treasures. But besides this, there's also pieces of platinum pieces and gold pieces and some other miscellaneous jewelry. So Elefanisi checks all this out, but she doesn't touch anything. So she comes back out here, and Vrenjar gets a little worried about her. The druid's going to kind of move positions to here. And the other wolf's like, what did you find? What's in there? And the other wolves go peeking in because no one's ever been bold enough to go peek in. And they peek in here. I'm going to do a check in the background, see what's going on here, okay? It's going to be a D20 roll. I'm going to let you see it, but okay, you're lucky. High rolls are bad things for me. So I'm going to take this back because I want to wear it. It's mine. It doesn't do what you think it does. She informs everyone that I found there's like a sword in here and there's a ring. And Obscura's like, oh, you found a ring? What should we do? And she's like, well, I'll tell you what. Let's get your illusion in place here. So she instructs her shadow creature illusion of a drow priestess to stand here. Vrenjar is going to move here and remain in shadows. In fact, he's going to slip all the way back over to here, and he's going to guard this. Obscura is going to place the illusion here. Elefanisi is going to say, well, it's inside that thing. She's like, okay. And so the druid comes around this way, and you guys get back. Be sure to help guard this opening. They're like, well, we don't really want to guard the opening. Maybe you friends can do it. So Mercedes is bold to come here. Zollers is going to come around this way with Elefanisi and block this off. Then the wolf's a little braver. She comes into here with the druid, and then Obscura into here, and then Tola's going to come here. So let's give the whole party kind of a like hear noise check, and let's make it let's give it kind of a general check. All right. So what I'm going to do, here's how we're going to do this. Everyone in the party's pretty smart. Let's just run through the intelligence numbers real quick because there's some noise in the background. The second number is the intelligence. So these little things are labeled strength. That means 16 strength, 16 intelligence. So you have 16 intelligence, 11, and then you have 12 for Elefnisi, and then you have 14 for Varinjar. Faoltiarna is 14, smart bunch, and Tola is 14, and then Obscure is 18. So the lowest intelligence is actually Zalaris, but Mercedes is in the front. So let's give her an intelligence check, make it a difficult one to do. So let's put Mercedes up on screen. So 16 or less. Okay, 12. Okay, now we do it for Zalaris. 11 or less, an 8. He's able to do it. They can hear the rustling sound, seems to realize that there's movement and tremor movements up here, and something is quickly darting here and quickly darting here and quickly darting here underneath, and then everyone gets kind of tense and gets their weapons ready, right? And Tola comes in here to get in position like this. The druid says, what's going on? What's happening? The wolves say, it's coming, it's coming. And all the wolves start backing up like this. They all start getting unscathed and they start growling and getting ready to run away. And she says, listen, you need to stay with me. Let's give a quick little reaction adjustment for her. One last little trick, and then we're going to hit the show on this one. It's going to be nasty. So 50% plus 15, I'm going to give her a 15% bonus. So that would be 50% plus 15 is 65. Add another 15% to that is 80. This is just because she's been able to maintain psychological and leadership control over the group so far. She needs to bolster their, embolden the group. So 70, 80, let's give it 80 or less. A 004. She's like, you need to come to the front lines and help us. We'll protect you. They, okay, we'll do it. We believe you. This is fantastic. So the wolves are all slipping up into these positions here. So there's a wolf right behind the Zalaris. One wolf says, I'll get next to you and we can fight together. And this other wolf comes around over to here and stand next to Mercedes. Here's where the drow illusion is. And the wolves are very emboldened, and one's here in the back. Obscura takes a look at the ring. And what we like to do with this is she can tell it's a magical ring, and she's going to pull it out in her hand. And I'm going to give her an intelligence check, make it a disadvantage. But because this is what I would consider an artifact level magic item, I'm going to make it twice as hard. So here's how I would normally do it. I'd roll a d20, because I don't do the detect magic scroll thing. That's a waste of time. She's intelligent. This is a scholarly character, okay? Normally, 18 or less means you could tell that, hey, that's a magical wand. It probably does this. Or, hey, that's a magical dagger. It's about this quality. It's exquisitely crafted. It's fantastic. It probably is +2 bonus. In this situation, I would make the bonus 18, but I'm going to cut it in half. So she's rolled 9 or less on a d20 to identify this ring. Okay? Ready for that roll? 9 or less. 14. So she can't tell what it is, but she just slips the ring into her pocket and keeps it for now because she knows. I'd show it to you up close, right? It's just too small. It's not the one ring, so don't worry about that. So it's this magical ring, but she can tell there's something about the ring that's very, 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 very powerful. So what we're going to do now is we're going to adjust the camera a little bit, and then we can get the lighting working better again because all the action's happening down here now. There we go. And then we can turn our lights on in the background so it's not quite so dark. There we go. All right, so pocket the ring. She's inside of here. Elefnisi's here. She can't really slip out. The druid's going to come around this way. Elefnisi, come stay with me. She's hidden. She's going to slip over to here. The druid's going to stand here. So it comes back. So first thing that happens, and it doesn't look like this. Let me show you what this thing looks like. This thing is nasty. Okay? This is nasty. You hear the scuttling and crackling claws sliding and scraping across frozen rocks, and this chittering nasty sound. It sounds like a mixture of a bat meets a dragon meets a centipede with its shells on the back of it, and it has this hissing kind of burning pustule sound going on as well. You should write that down and make a novel, right? So what is this thing? This is called a Remorhaz, and if you played the original adventure, you know how lethal these things are. Let me put this picture up for people who've never seen one before, and I'll make it bigger for you. In fact, I'm going to let you see the original first edition entry for this bad boy. We're going to pull this over here for you, okay? This is a Remorhaz. This nasty bastard, pardon my language, this nasty thing sticks its head up out of the sinkhole and takes a look around. And this is like 1 millisecond, right? This thing sticks its head up. So what you have here is this huge head that's the size of a Volvo, okay? It has these little wings on either side of its like neck. It's like a long centipede creature with a bunch of legs here. It's got like 8 legs on each side. It kind of looks like you'd see the 8-legged centipede with a number of legs on each side. It's got this underbelly like a serpent, like a dragon, that looks more exposed. It's pitch black in color with lots of neon blue highlights. So these eyes are like completely pitch black with the shiny spots on it. Has this little weird like mouth crab tendril fang thing. And it sticks its up with these huge, like nasty little spiky horns. And on its back is all these like pulsing pustules that look like, imagine barnacles if they were alive. So it sticks its head up and it tenses up, and we're going to have to roll for initiative. So when it tenses up, its whole back like gets really hot, and some of the snow around it starts to immediately steam and melt. So it's almost like a red dragon meets centipede, but it's pitch black and really, really cold and nasty looking. It's very, very fast and very, very aggressive. So let's give the nasty monster initiative roll, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to move this chicken scratch out of the way here, and we're going to do initiative rolls by character this time. We're not going to do a party roll because we're going to do by who's in the front lines and who can get seen first. So for the Remorhaz, it's 7. Now, this is a fearful moment, okay? Someone could die here. Let's just look through this. Remorhazes are sometimes known as polar worms. They inhabit only chilly wastes. Well, this is appropriate for that, isn't it? Very aggressive predators. If encountered in its lair, well, guess what this is over here, right? Don't you think that's its lair? Okay. 25% likely to have a mate, but it didn't, at least as far as you know. And 1 to 2 eggs. There were no eggs. The size of one of these creatures is determined by its hit dice. In this case, this thing is ancient. Okay? So this is a 14 hit dice creature. There's the stats right there. Very nasty. All right? It beats its small wings, rears up in its front quarters, kind of like you see here. Imagine these wings beating. They're not enough wings to pull it up in the air. It's a way for it to kind of swell itself up and get on its hind haunches. And what it does, it snaps its head forward. So what it would do is it's 42 feet long. Okay? So let me just give you an idea how big 42 feet is here on the scale here. So this is one of these is 5 foot, 10, 20, 30, 40. So if this thing was stretched from from end to end, here would be its head, and its body tapers all the way down like this, and it has little wings like this. This is an overhead view, and then of course you got all the legs and stuff. It's got this big nasty spiky head, so it's that long. That's how long it is. Very nasty. It looks like a mayfly with no wings. But we're just going to use this 1.5-inch giant-sized token for it, because what it does is it stands up. So like you can see in the picture here in the first edition monster manual, this thing is standing up, so its overall cylindrical profile is not that big. Like its tail may be sticking out like this, right? And the legs may be positioned like this. But the real scary part is where the head is. All right? It's kind of like that nasty creature in the Wrath of Khan movie. So its initiative roll is 5, 6, and 7. We're going to roll for initiative for Zalaris. And this isn't a surprise. Everyone's already anticipating something. It's just to see who gets to go first. So Zalaris, does he have his dexterity is what, 15? He doesn't really have a bonus. So how does his number stack up with this? Okay, 4, 5, 6. A 10 and a 12. So Zalaris beats the initiative, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. This is a very nasty fight. You've got to be very, very good with the bookkeeping on this one. So let's just write this down so you can see it. So we're going to call this is the Ancient Remorhaz. And what do you have? 5, 6, and 7. He had a 7. Zalaris rolls what? A 10 and a 12. All right. Let's go around the corner here. Let's do the other Winter Wolf. We'll use a black. We're going to leave the Remorhaz initiative roll right here so you can see it. Okay, right over here by the north arrow. What's their Winter Wolf's initiative? 12 plus 4. So we're going to say this is Winter Wolf 1. X means it's number 1. It's X by Zalaris. So 6 is 12 plus 4 is 16. 16. Now let's go over here. Vrenjar. Now Vrenjar is an assassin. He's hidden in the shadows. So even if he loses initiative, nothing can see him. But I'm going to give him a dexterity bonus to his roll in case he's somewhat caught off guard. Okay, he's getting +2 bonus for being so 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, this is just 10 and 3 is 13. So we're going to put this down here for Vrenjar. So Vrenjar is a 13. Remember, he gets +2 because of his dexterity. Right? So that's 15 total. Now let's go to Mercedes. Mercedes got good numbers too. Her dexterity is 15. She doesn't get a bonus, so she has a natural roll here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's still, everyone so far still winning initiative. Let's put her down here. I don't want to write it in chicken scratch because I don't want it to get marked off the board. What's her number again? 9. That's a lucky low roll for the Remorhaz. Let's do it for this one and this one, these two Winter Wolves behind it. Let's start left to right, okay? This first Winter Wolf is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And we're going to call this Winter Wolf 2M, and the Winter Wolf 3M. And what was this? 6 and 6 is 12. And we've got Remorhaz in the house that's attacking. Okay, so my producer is making a bunch of noise in the background. And this one here, so this is 6, 7, and 8. So far, everyone's beating the initial initiative roll. So now here's what we're going to do. We've rolled for everyone except for this wolf here. There's not really a great line of sight to this wolf, but I'm going to do one more roll for this last wolf. Okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we're going to call this wolf up here with dollars Winter Wolf 2 next to dollars. And what's this number? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so here lets you see this right here. So your Remorhaz sticks his head up out of the hole, out of the sinkhole, and everyone wins initiative roll. So everyone can do an action. You can attack, you can flee, you can cast a spell, and while it's doing that, it will be susceptible to being attacked, damaged, or whatever. People can take a step forward. He's close to take a forward. The Winter Wolf might do its breath weapon. You know, the Obscura can't control her illusion because she can't see the illusion. I'm going to give an initiative roll for Elefanisi and Obscura and the Druid after this initial reaction, because here's how I like this to happen. Everyone in the front lines, these are only the people that really have an opportunity to do something. Okay? Only the people from this area down. This other group are out of position. There's too many heads in the way. The line of sight's bad. So let's go from left to right. I'm not going to necessarily, normally what you would do if you're sitting at the table, let's do it that way. In fact, we'll do it the old school way. Who had the highest number? Right? So Winter Wolf 1X, he goes first. That's a 16. The 15 is Vrenjar, goes second. And let's just draw a line here and call this order. Okay. 15, then there's a 12 and a 12, so these two go third. So Zolris goes third. And there's the other 12 down here, which is Winter Wolf 2. Next to Mercedes goes fourth. Let's just call it fourth because it's a Winter Wolf. In fact, the Winter Wolf's probably faster than him, but I'll just leave it like that. And then we have, what, a 9 and an 8 left, and an 11. 11, this would go fifth. And this would go sixth. And this would go seventh. Right, so make sure everything's clear here. Let's put this right here so you can see it. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll post-it note this. Let's see, if I put it here, will you be able to see it? Yeah, you can see it pretty good. Let's put that right here. All right. Be hard for me to update it, but whatever. So who gets to go first? First place, Winter Wolf. Next is this one right here. So this Winter Wolf right here won initiative. The first thing it's going to do, is it's within 10 feet, is do its Howling Blast. Okay? Now here's one thing you got to remember. This is one thing that's really nasty about these creatures. The wolf doesn't know this. Check out this magic resistance. 75% magic resistance. Okay? Now the way the Winter Wolves work is their front, this is the Remorhaz here. I'll put him up here by the bone pile. The Winter Wolves, they're only 6 hit dice, but they have a frontal cone they can do once every turn that will do 6 to 24 damage. Okay? But the way it works with magic resistance is I do it like an EverQuest. If you resist the spell with magic resistance, you take nothing. Okay, it's not half damage or anything like that, because saving, it's not like you've moved out of the way. It's just your magically created creature. So this thing's going to blast away its frontal cone. And so we're going to leave the initiative roll up there. We're going to do 66 damage right off the bat from this Winter Wolf against him and see what the number is first, and then we'll do the percentage for the magic resistance. Okay, so 6, 4 is 10. Whoops, sorry. 14, 15 damage. Now we're going to do a percentile check for the Remorhaz. If it's 75 or less, I mean 75 equal or less, it does no damage. Okay, that's a 56. So all this Winter Blast weapon that just fired away did no damage. That means this wolf is now in range of him. So he's already got his chance to go. Who's number 2? Number 2 was Vrenjar right here. He had a 15. Vrenjar is here. He's going to choose to move closer, but not all the way closer. He wants to move to here where this rock is. This is actually a little rock, but he's not going to attack. So he's going to all he's going to do is move. Who's number 3? Number 3 is Zolris. Zalaris is going to take a step forward and use his burning glaive and take a swipe at this thing. When you're a tiger nomad, you're not intimidated by some stupid centipede, even though it's an ancient Remorhaz. And in fact, I wonder if they would even know what this is. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say this is too rare and too unique of a creature for them to know what it is. So this Remorhaz, let's pull him up again. His armor class is... This thing has an armor class of overall 0, a head 2, and the underside of 4. So because it sticks only its head's visible initially here, because they're getting the jump on this thing. The thing sticks its head out, takes a look around, it's just the head. So to hit the head is armor class what? Where's the number at? Head is 2. So it's hit armor class 2. Now, let's put this over here. To hit AC 0, he only needs a 6. To hit 2, he only needs a 4. So he's going to get one big powerful attack, right? And this is a large creature. So, oh, a natural 20. If you're going to kick the ball off rolling, as a tiger nomad, you might as well skewer the devil out of the thing. So he's going to take his huge, massive burning glaive and just jam the thing right in the head, and it's going to do double damage right off the bat. So the double damage won't happen from the fire damage. Maybe this is a weapon that has additional fire damage, but it will happen from the basic damage, which is 1d10 plus 5. So we're going to roll that right here where the 10-siders at, right? Here's the 20. Let's just use these 10-siders here. Where's our blue one at? I like the blue one. It's my favorite. Here we go. So 1d10, 8 plus 5, right? 13, doubled, 26. Now this Remorhaz has 100 hit points, right? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep track of the Remorhaz hit points down here. So once again, this was 26 damage, correct? 8 plus the 5 is 13, times 2 is 26. So that's going to put them down to, we go from 100 down to 74. That's a good, solid hit. It's hard to do a 4 from an angle. Oh, that's funny. Let's just write like this. I'll write this at an angle so I can kind of see it. So the Remorhaz is at 74. That's a really nasty hit right off the bat. Now it does an additional 1d8 fire damage, but remember this is an elemental damage on a creature that uses flame. So let's just pull the creature up here so you can understand this. These kind of creatures in D&D, you really need to read the details, okay? He's using his polearm, so it's at range. He's not touching the creature. If you see down here, if he had a regular weapon, he'd be in trouble. So this thing is alerted, but it's not what I called aroused, okay? Even though the heat from it is melting the snow, read this. When aroused, the Remorhaz secretes substances internally which cause its intestines to become very hot, and its back protrusions actually glow cherry red with excess heat. Any non-magical weapon striking the back of the Remorhaz will melt from the heat. Now, it's not the head, the back. Now, that means this region back here, all these pustules are, okay? If you were to touch that part of it, that means to touch it. Like, imagine touching the back of a crocodile, right? Not the underbelly of the crocodile, not the crocodile head. You would take 10 to 100 points of damage. You'd be instantly vaporized almost if you were to touch it or burn your hand off. But in this situation, that burning glaive that Zalaris has, it's a magical item. So there's no risk of him getting hurt whatsoever. So he just pumps the thing, nails the thing with damage, and it just takes the burning damage, and he'll get to react after that. So who's next on the list? That's a good start. I was really worried someone's going to die fast, but someone could still get swallowed whole and killed here. So we had Zalaris went third, right? We have, let me pull this over here so I can read it better for myself. Okay. Winterwolf 1, he got to go. Number 2 was Vrenjar, he did a movement. Number 3 was Zalaris, he did an attack. Who's number 4? Winterwolf 2 next to Mercedes. So that's this one here. This Winterwolf 2 is going to go bounding 1, 2, and then do his breath weapon attack. Now, I don't do friendly fire, okay? A lot of people do this, oh, you cast a fireball and you burn this whole area. Because this thing is doing a frontal cone, it's breathing it, it's like a breath weapon. The Winter Wolf knows not to burn its friend and ally, so it would burn it, would blast the frontal cone like this, okay? Now, if I was standing here in hidden shadows and it didn't see me, that would be pretty nasty. That could hurt really bad, so we put this like this. So, breath weapon. Remember how we do this? It's 66 damage. It's just like a frontal cone of cold like in World of Warcraft, but there's a 75% magic resistance, okay? So the damage of that's not very good. There's 3 ones. That's a 3 plus 3 is only 6, and then we just do a check against the magic resistance to see if it's nullified. Oh, a 98. So it doesn't nullify it. Right? That was a 98. So it doesn't nullify it, but it's not a lot of damage. It's only 6. So we take the 74, right, and we take away 6. That puts us at 68. The Remorhaz is coming back from an early breakfast and is not getting greeted very friendly. Very surprised. They're very lucky to have the Winter Wolves here. So this Winter Wolf's close. So Winterwolf did a breath weapon. Vrinjar got a move. Zalaris did attack. This one did a breath weapon. Now who's next in the list? All right, let's go to our list here of initiative winners. That was number 4, Winterwolf 2 by Mercedes. Number 4. Who's next? Where's 5? Here he is. Winterwolf number 2 by Zalaris. That's this Winterwolf in the back here. This Winterwolf's going to come bounding here and do a breath weapon attack as well. That's their number 1 most fearsome attack. And they only can do it once per turn, so it's not like they're going to do this every round. So we roll the damage for this thing. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's not a lot of damage. And remember, you get the magic resistance check. 32. That does no damage. Very nasty. Very nasty. Now, some people may want to play that differently, but I like it that way. 75% magic resistance means you are, it's like immunity. It's not a, oh, you take half. That's for a breath weapon roll. If you're doing a saving throw and you're using your, your dexterity or reaction attacking adjustment to evade being hit by, a black dragon spitting something at you or burning acid at you, and you move out of the way and you take half damage, a lot of those spells that are area effect and frontal cone in the first edition are like that. They give you a chance to kind of like do in Cinderella, where the knight holds up the shield and blocks the fire dragon's breath. You can do human actions to avoid being hit head on. When something's blasting you with a cone of cold, you're going to get hit. There's no roll to hit. There's no saving throw against it. It's not trying to move out of the way. It already lost initiative. It's just spraying it in the head, okay? It's like taking a water hose and just spraying the car. The car doesn't move out of the way. But the magic resistance, the creature is magical, and the magic resistance could just completely nullify the damage. It's like striking something that's immune. Since magical weapons can't hurt its skin, non-magic weapons can't hurt its skin, so that's a chance for it to be protected from this. All right, let's go back to our initiative checks here. Who gets to go next? Who just went there? That was Winterwolf 2 by Mercedes. That's with number 4. That was number 5. Yep. And this guy over here. So we have what? So we've got 1, 2, 3. Let me double check this. Maybe I made a mistake. So who was number 1? Winterwolf 1 by Zalaris. He went. Winterwolf 2 by Zalaris. He went. Winterwolf 3 by Mercedes went. Then we need number 6 to go. Mercedes gets to go. Now there's not a lot of room here. Okay? But I'm going to play this as if she's confident. There's not a lot of room to stand on. If she stands trying to get on this, this Winterwolf is huge, is in the way. So the Winterwolf bounded forward. 3 Winterwolves bounded into here. She can't get in here to get a melee swing. She has no ranged attacks at all. So she can move. So what I'm going to have her do is I'm going to have her, the Drow illusion is here. I'm going to have her take a leap forward here and get over here and utilize this rock and try to move closer because she knows that Vrinjar is over. And she's going to try to move side by side with Vrinjar. So all she's going to do is a movement. And I'm not even going to make her roll for this. This is about an 8-foot jump. It's no problem. I'm just going to have her roll and jump over this real quick. In fact, I will make her do a roll. Let's just do a good old-fashioned straight 3d6 dex check. Very simple, not hard to do at all. Okay? So her dexterity is 15. Roll 15 or less on 3d6. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So barely, but it's fine. So she's able to get here and then move to here, and she's got her 2-handed sword ready, and Vrinjar's hidden right here as well. So now, who's next? Who's next on the list? Who gets to do something? Mercedes went. That was number 6. Winterwolf number 3 by Mercedes. That's this guy. He gets to do something. Okay? There's not a lot of room left to do anything. So this Winterwolf is just going to bound here and get ready to leap and attack, depending upon what happens. You're the Remorhaz. The first thing that happened to you is 2 options. You've been surprised, you've been burned, jammed by a polearm, you're surrounded by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 enemies. You see another character in full plate mail, but you're not intimidated by these creatures. So this is what you need as a DM. You need to kind of look at the intelligence of the creature. Okay? This is animal intelligence. So this is like a bear. Imagine, you ever seen a video on the web where you watch a black bear and, oh, the bear is killing the salmon and the bear comes to the garbage can and takes stuff out of the house. Animals are just interested in eating and killing things for themselves and sustenance and living. It's not going to outsmart the situation. It's not going to approach the situation as tactical. It's not intimidated by winter wolves. In fact, it's probably killed winter wolves before and burned their bones up. I would think that if I was coming out of this hole, the first place I would be facing would be this way. Meaning I'm going to go back to my lair. It wouldn't be popping. Maybe it popped up and looked left and looked right, but the first thing to attack it was over here. Wasn't that right? So who went number 1? So number 1 was Winterwolf 1 by Zalaris. So unfortunately, it's facing Zalaris and the first Winterwolf that went for it. The winter wolf is the least intimidating thing. I'm going to have it do an attack on the first winter wolf. And remember, this is what's nasty about this thing. If I roll a natural 20, that winter wolf will be swallowed whole in one hit. Okay? Now the good part is this thing only gets one attack. One attack. Now, here's the problem with this for the good guys. To hit AC 0, this thing only needs an 8. Okay? Winter wolves aren't excessively there you have AC 6. Let's just let you compare the sheets here. Okay? So to hit AC 0, the Remorhaz only needs an 8. So to add 6 to that, take 6 away from it, it only needs a 2. So to hit a winter wolf, the Remorhaz only needs to roll a 2 to hit this winter wolf. If this is a natural 20, we'll use the black die for him. Let's get the black one out. This uses dark blue one, right? Dark blue, purple. Let's use the red one. If this is a natural 20, this Remorhaz is attacking this character, this winter wolf. It'll swallow it whole. 9. So it hits it. Now the damage on the thing isn't a lot, right? It does 3d6, 3 to 6 to 36, which is 66 damage. That's a decent amount of damage, but the average on that's like 18. So we don't have enough 6-siders, so we're going to throw in 2 of the monster 6-siders for this. So we'll roll this out here in the middle where you can see it. All right, that's stacked on top. We'll just unstack that. So we have 4 and 4 and 4 and 4. That's 16 plus 5 is 21 plus 6, 27 damage on this winter wolf. Each one of these winter wolves has 50 health. Okay? So this was 4, 4, 4, 16, 21, 27. So we're just going to take this from the top here. So 50 minus 27. I hate to say this, but I'm going to use a calculator. 50 minus 27, 23. So that's pretty nasty. So this first winter wolf is down to 23 health. All right? And that's all it gets to do. That's its only attack round. That's the only way. You have to kill this thing before it kills everyone. So this winter wolf is damaged. Now, normally you could roll for initiative all over again, but I'm going to keep the initiative in the exact same order that it was at, but I'm going to give the group over here behind my dash line an opportunity to do something because there's a lot of noise and a lot of sound. So the first thing I'm going to have happen is I'm going to have, what will we do here? Elephanici wouldn't run forward. She can climb walls, but that's 150 feet tall. What would you do for Elephanici? I'm going to have Elephanici run on top of this dome and then think about what to do. So we're just going to give her a really fast little climb wall check. So her climb walls is almost 100%, 99%. She's extremely dexterous. I'm going to give her a non-disadvantage roll against her dexterity to make this move, and I'll got her. She moves a double movement rate, so she might run and leap over to here or something. So let's do it this way. Let's get these dice off the screen. So her dexterity is, what are we looking at for her? Wisdom, dexterity, 17 dexterity. So we're going to get a +2 adjustment for her. Let's do it this way. 3d6. Here's a +2 adjustment. If you roll 17 or less in your dexterity on 3d6, you'll be fine. You can do it. No problem. Okay, easily done. So she runs. Now, she would, in a normal melee round, she would get to move 12, right? Would be 120 feet when you're engaged in combat, but she's not in combat yet. So I'm going to have her run to the top here, and she's actually going to leap over here and land over here to put herself in position to attack the next melee round. Now, she could slip on here. I'm going to give her a disadvantage roll against d20. She's got to roll her dexterity or less to not slip and slide and fall and maybe fall in the pit. So 17 or less, all right? Oh my goodness. So she slips. So as she's on top of the thing, getting ready to make this run, leaping jump, she's going to slip. So what's the best way to handle it? If you were on top of this dome and you slipped, you'd lose your balance. So I'm going to give her another disadvantage check against her dexterity, and then I'll give a 1d6 to determine the direction. You could probably control your fall. I'll give her a saving throw as versus breath weapon to see if she can push off and propel herself and try to land where she wanted to go in the first place. So her breath weapon save is 14. So she rolls 14 or higher. Remember, saving throw rolls are higher than. So she fails her saving throw. So she's going to slide and fall straight down and hit this thing, and she's right underneath its belly. It's like one of the worst things that could possibly happen to you. But she hasn't taken any damage yet. So this thing just turned this way. So she's on the right flank of this creature, but only its head's appearing. That leaped its head out and took a snap at this thing and bit it. So the whole side of its body is exposed. So if she got on top of it, she would burn herself. But she has a very quick reaction. She'll probably be able to get out of the way, and I doubt it will swing around and bite her next. But she's in a really bad position. So she's at the bottom of the ice bank. Now, what can the druid do? She saw this thing snap and bite this. I'm going to have her run here, and then immediately start casting a spell. Now, what spell would you do? You're the druid. You're thinking offensively. You know this thing has magic resistance. The most powerful thing you could possibly do that wouldn't hurt your friends. You could do a call lightning, but that's pretty nasty. You could do pyrotechnics. You could go into healing mode. You got this area is choked. You may need to be saving your friends' lives. What could you do? What would you do? What would you do? You're the druid right there. What can you do? I'm going to have her run and leap forward and try to leap over to this side. So I'm just give her, this is a winter wolf. This is only like a 15-foot leap. It's like jumping from the free. I'm going to have her try to do that. And I'll have her do that against her base dexterity, which in this case is only 12, at a disadvantage roll. A 1, perfectly. So the druid is able to run and leap over Zolaris and leap over the side of the pit and land on the solid ground on the back side of this. All right? Pretty dramatic. But Elefanicia, unfortunately, was not dramatic whatsoever. Now, Obscura's heard these sounds. She can come out to here and take a look at this, and she can control her illusion and have her illusion come in here and start attacking. But the monster hasn't seen the illusion, so the only thing this could do was run forward and try to melee. Since it's an illusion, she can have her illusion come forward and walk magically over the surface and float in the air and take a melee swing at it. So that would be something that she can control because it's an illusion. In order to do that, she needs to have line of sight to where that's going to happen. But that's not going to happen to the next round. So what we're going to do, we're going to append the attack order here. And who we have 1, 2, who went 3, 3. We have 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we're going to have 8 is Faoltiarna. And 9 is Obscura. And the cleric is 10. I'm going to have him just move into position here. And Tola is his name. He's got the 10th position. These 2 winter wolves are going to come running in here. I'm going to have one of them bound and land on this side. I'm going to have this one here just to back up its friend. So that's everyone on that side. This one here is going to run to here, but it can't do anything. It can't really jump over her, so everything's all choked here. All right, here we go. Now all the way back to the beginning. So who won the first initiative? This wolf won the initiative. It's going to take a bite at the Remorhaz. Now, this is a really bad idea because it's not going to do any damage. Okay? It doesn't know that, though. These things have never tried to fight this thing ever before. So I'm just going to roll the dice, but it's not going to do anything. Okay? And let me show you why it's not going to do anything. This is actually going to turn out quite sad for the winter wolf. So it's going to try and bite the thing in its head or on its underbelly. So if it can get a bite off on its underbelly, it's okay. But if it bites the top of the creature, it'll burn itself and just destroy its face. It'll be really nasty. So winter wolf, to hit AC 0, the underbelly is AC what? What is the underbelly AC? Like a go for the throat dog bite, right? The head, underside. So let's say it's going for AC 4. So we're going to add 4 to that. Here's the winter wolf attack sheet. To hit AC 0 needs a 13. Take away 4. A 9 or higher, and this thing clamps its jaws on the... okay, so it's a 6. So it tries to attack, and it fails. So who's next in the list? Winter wolf. We'll just put these here like this. Okay, so he got to go. Who's number 2? Vrenjar gets to go number 2. Another spear jam. And for him, as I remember, it was only a 6. He only needed a 6. And this time he's going to go for the underbelly again. So this is, to hit AC 0, he needs a 6. He only needs a 2 to hit the underbelly. All right, so let's give him a blue die. Make it more dramatic. Where's the blue one for him? These are percentiles. Let's get these out of the way. We'll use a purple one. Here's the blue one. Okay, here's Vrenjar's, another lunging stab with his glaive. A 12, that just hits normally. The normal hit is 1d10 plus 5. So here's a 1d10 plus 5 is 9. And then there's 1d8 fire damage to see if the fire damage is nullified by the magic resistance. Okay. Yep, it's nullified by the magic resistance. So that's only 8 plus 5 is 13. Okay. So this puts this thing down to 13. This is 5. 55 health left on our nasty Remorhaz, ancient Remorhaz. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. What did I say it was? Let's just say it's 58. Make it harder. Okay. Actually, it was 13 from that. 13 from 65 is 53. So it was at 53 health. That's a lot of damage taken so far. Let's keep going through the turns because at the end of this turn, I'm going to do some kind of morale check for this creature and see whether it runs and flees because it doesn't like being killed and it's in a bad position. All right, so next attack is on the list. Number 2 was, this over here is our initiative list here. All right, let's just tape that down. We did, that was number 2, 3. Number 2 is Vrinjar. Oh, okay, I forgot about that. Let me do his. Oh gosh, this could end the whole fight. He can't jump on this thing, and he can't reach it. It's too far away. He's just going to have to wait. Mercedes can't reach it. These wolves are in the way. He can't jump over. There's just no room to. He's just going to have to pass his turn. So that's why Dollar's got his attack. Who's number 4? Winterwolf number 2 next to Mercedes. That was this one. He's going to try to take a bite at this thing, but unfortunately, I'm going to say it's going to try to bite the back, which is kind of bad. So what does it need to do that, to pull that off? Winterwolf, the armor on the back on the Remorhaz. We have a head and underside. Let's give it the same armor class as the head, which is AC 0. So the AC 0, this thing needs a 13. So let's give this thing a 13 roll. So it successfully bites the back, which is unfortunate because it doesn't know better. Because when you bite this thing on the back, you basically kill yourself. A winter wolf is not a magical creature. It's not like it's some kind of summon golem or something. When it tries to bite this thing, it would you would burn itself. Since this thing is already attacked, I want to say that it's now, I hate to say the word, but saying it's aroused. Its intestines become very hot. So basically this thing, I hate to say it, it's going to take 10d10 damage from biting its back. Oh, that's lucky. 26 damage on the wolf that has taken no damage. Could have instantaneously killed itself. So we're going to put this down to 24 health left on that winter wolf. So he's taking damage. That's nasty. Very lucky. That thing could have instantly died. And who's next on our initiative list? Get this combat moving along pretty quickly because I think they might be able to pull this off. That was number 4. Who's number 5? Number 5 is Winterwolf 2 by Zalaris, which is the one that jumped here. We're going to do another, he's going to do a bite at the underbelly. The underbelly armor class, they only need to hit AC 0 as a 13. The underbelly is 4, so it only needs a 9. Okay, an 18, so it successfully bites. But the bite damage on the winter wolves is really, really low. It's only 1d8. Okay, so we're going to give a 1d8 roll. That's a 6, so 53 minus 6. That puts us down to 47. Okay. Now, these winter wolves, you know, when the animals like that try to bite something, they try to grab it and grab a hold of it. So what I'm going to say has happened is this, you know, this is a bite and a grab and a bite and a grab and a bite and a grab. Because of the back, it wouldn't be able to sink its teeth in and hold it for a very long period of time. So that's kind of nasty. But next round, this one might be burned to death. So what do we have next? Who's number 5? Winter Wolf number 2 by Zolf. She did that one. Who's number 6 is Mercedes. Mercedes out of position, can't do anything. She can't get close. She's just going to have to stay with her weapon ready. She can't get close enough to the enemy to attack. Who's number 7 is Winter Wolf number 3 that was by Mercedes. That's over here. He can't get close to attack. He's out of position. We have 8. We have Faoltiarna. She leaped over here. She could take a bite, but she's not going to try to bite the thing in the back. She can only see the back. She's going to try and do a bite on the head, which is going to, I'm going to give her a -2 bonus to do that. So, but I'm going to have her attack as a regular druid. So her regular to hit AC 0 would be 12. The head is armor class 0, so she would take a 12 to hit to bite this thing in the back of the head, but I'm going to make it 2, so she's got to roll a 14, okay? The 14 successfully biting the back of the head. Okay, 6. So she doesn't do that. So she tries to bite it. So she goes a lunge attack. It misses. And next we have Obscura. She can have her illusion do an attack. It wouldn't be affected by the burning damage of the back of the creature. So what we're going to do is say this is a 6 hit dice illusion, maybe half the level of Obscura. To hit AC 0 on that, let's just pull up our little sheet real quick. In fact, let's just do it this way. We'll do it as if she's attacking her on her own. So to hit AC 0, she needs a 16. That's the fair way to do it. Okay? A 14, so her illusion doesn't strike successfully. The thing hasn't even noticed the illusion's even there yet, so it doesn't even have a chance to understand what's happened. And lastly, Ventola. He doesn't really have anything offensive that he can do from range. He's not going to cast heal or harm. He's going to save all that. Speak with dead, silence, hold person, protection from evil. He could cast protection from evil. I don't think he's going to want to because it's just taking so much damage. It's going to be in a waiting pattern. All right, that's the end of the round. So we go all the way back to the beginning again. Okay, all the way back to the beginning. This Remorhaz took a bite of this one and damaged him, but didn't kill him. It's going to attack him again. So the Remorhaz only needs to hit AC 0 and only needs an 8. The Winter Wolf is AC 5, so it only needs a 3 to hit this thing. Okay, a 1, so that's a complete flub. So basically, what's going to happen is it needs that number or higher. That it needs the 1 means it completely snapped and missed. It's out of position. I'm actually going to say it's moved itself forward, and this wolf has sidestepped to the side, and this wolf now is behind it. And Zalaris is from the flank, and Elephanisi is here. So that's its turn. What do we have next? Let's go back to our initiative list. Who's number 1 on the list? Number 1 on the list is Winterwolf 1X. That's this wolf here, if I'm not mistaken. In order to hit this thing is AC, it's going to attack the side. Actually, it's going to attack the back. It's not aware of the fact that it can burn itself on this. Let's do it as AC 0. So the Winterwolf is only need a 13. So a 13 or higher for the Winterwolf. An 8, it misses. That's a miss. Who's next on the list? Number 2 is Varenjar. He's not in position. He's been doing this for 2 rounds. He needs to move to change the position, but there's not enough room to do anything. I think what he's going to try to do is he's going to try pulling back. You know, it's best to stay here. He'll just stay there in case things get nasty. There's just no way to do anything else. Her biting attack and this thing's out of position, so she's pulled back. The illusionist would follow it. Who's next on the list? Varenjar. Then we have Zalaris. Attack from the side, number 3. All right, so he's going to get to attack. So let's do Zalaris' attack to hit. He only needed a 4, if I remember correctly. Okay. So to AC 0, he needs a 6. He's going to try to hit the side, the underbelly. So it's a 4. A 2 or higher will hit. So let's just do it with this 220 here. Let's use the purple one. Okay, so he easily hits it. So another 1d10 plus 5. That's 9. Okay, so 47 minus the 9. I'll roll the d8, add in a second. 9 from this is 38. Okay, now let's do the fire damage. Remember this thing as a magic resistance. I'll roll the fire damage and then we'll see if it's resistant. It's only 1 anyway. And magic resistance is resisted, it doesn't do any damage anyway. Alright, let's put these percentile dice over here. Alright. And that was Zalaris. Now next we have number 4. Number 4 position is Winterwolf. Number 2 next to Mercedes. That's this one. And it's the one that took a bite of it last time but only took 26 damage. I'm going to have, it can't reach it anymore because it's out of position. So it's actually going to leap across to the other side of the sinkhole and try to take a bite at it on the back again. Even though it took damage, it's just voraciously being excited by its peers, the pack wolf behavior. So to hit this thing in the back is as if it's AC 0, so it needs a 13. So a 6, and it completely misses. Who's next on the list? Winterwolf 2 by Mercedes, Winterwolf 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one's out of position. It's going to try to leap and land on top of the thing. So it needs a 13 to do that. A 14, it successfully does that. But unfortunately, it'll immediately take burning damage. Because once again, this is what's bad here. So it hit and it bit, which means it's 1d8. So 8 damage taken away. It bit the thing, put it down to 30 health. This is chipping away at it good. But 10d10 burning damage. Not very nice. 58, this thing is dead. This thing bursts into flames and turns to cinders. And that's going to throw everyone off because when this thing gets burned by its burning back, I'm going to interrupt the whole combat sequence now and do a morale check for the Remorhaz because it's taken a lot of damage. Okay, this thing had 100 health. It's taken 66% of its life damage. This Winterwolf just going to burn to a crisp when it's back. Let me give it a reaction adjustment. So here's how we're going to do this. We're going to roll for initiative with 3d6 for the Remorhaz. That's a great roll. That's a fantastic roll. That's 16. I'm going to give everyone in the area a collective roll. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, this is close. This is close. This is close. This is 15 versus 16, isn't it? Yep. There's the 6 and a 4 and a 5. So everyone in the area got a 15. So everyone's on their toes, but this is a 16. This thing is going to try to snap its head back and drop down into the cave below. Okay? So it disappears. The incinerated, burned wolf corpse is there. Everyone else is out of position. So when it snaps its head back and goes back down, I'm going to give the human characters in melee range an attack of opportunity. Okay? Now, this is kind of a rule that we really have in 3.5 and beyond, but the reason I'm going to do this is because Eliphanesi's in position and she hasn't had a chance to attack. So she's going to get a main hand and an offhand swipe at this thing. And if she can hit this thing in the side of the ear or the head as it's trying to withdraw, she'll stun it and it might just fall. So this could be a very heroic moment of truth. To hit AC 0, she only needs a 14, okay? So this thing on its head is armor class 0, so she needs a 14. Either one of these, 19 or higher, and there's a stun going off. You ready? 14 or higher. Ah, they both miss. She goes whoo, and tries to hit it real quick, and it just snaps its head back. Zoller's gets one last hit as it's trying to sweep away. So for him, he only, as I remember, to AC 0, he needs a 6. He's going to try to hit it on top of the head, so it's just going to be a straightforward AC 0, 6 or higher. A 17, so he hits it successfully. Let's get these initiative dice out of the way here. I'm not going to give the wolves attack opportunity because they're too big and too slow, and some of them have done bites and they're withdraw from the bites, and I'm not going to give them a chance to do that. But people with melee weapons can do those kind of attacks really, really quickly. So let's do his damage, a 1d10 plus 5. Okay, 2 plus 5 is only 7, so that 30 becomes a 23. This thing's very wounded. It's going to flee. Whoops, 23, not 33. 23. Let's see if the magic resistance resists the fire damage. We'll roll the fire damage and magic resistance roll at the same time. We'll get these out of the way. So that's a 62, which means the 6 damage of burning damage from the burning glaive yet again did no damage. So 23 health Remorhaz is able to escape and slip down into the sinkhole. Now here's something very crazy about this. When this huge 45-foot long nasty beast slips down the sinkhole, if you remember earlier, the way I described it to you, is it's like a hole that has snow that's built up, like a crab on the beach that's made a little tunnel. When it goes down in here, it might pull people down into the hole with it. So everyone's going to need to make a saving throw. I'm going to do it versus a dexterity check at a disadvantage. So let's pretend that all the winter wolves have a dexterity of 14. That's pretty good for a large canine, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start right here. The illusion that was there is just floating in the air. And Obscura can't control it. She's been actively controlling the illusion. So let's just start with going left to right. Let's start with this winter wolf first. Okay? You need to roll 14 or less to not fall in. Okay? There's a 16. This winter wolf falls. I'm just going to put everyone that fell down over here. This down fell out in the pit. 14 or less. 20. That's a complete flub. It fell down in the pit. Dead corpse. Let's see if it... dead corpse is just going to fall down the pit. This is nasty. Winter wolf here. Another 19. It fell down to the pit. So you got 3 winter wolves and a cindered, burned winter wolf corpse fell in the pit. Zollerus. Now, does he have a dexterity bonus? He does. That's not constitution. He needs to roll 17 or less on a d20. Okay, he rolls a 7, so he's okay. He's able to maintain balance. Eliphanesi. Her dexterity is 17. 17 or less on a d20. Oh, that's just barely enough. So she maintains her balance. Obscura's not a threat. This winter wolf, I'm going to let the druid roll. She's going to roll too. She's right there on the edge. It's going to be a dexterity check for her. She only has 12. She has to roll 12 or less to prevent slipping and falling into the pit. Oh no, a 15. So the druid fell down. Oh, that sucks. Oh, she's separated from the rest of the group. No one else in the vicinity is at risk of falling in. These guys are on solid ground. This guy's too far back. This guy's here. Wow, that's a dramatic turn of events. Gosh, we're going to have to figure out what to do next. You know what I think? This is a perfect time to stop the fight and let the people that watch the show decide what to do. So here's how we're going to do this. Let me get these sheets out of the way. Let me take a quick picture with the phone of everything, what's going on. So down below, we have the druid. We have the very wounded Remorhaz. We have 3 alive winter wolves. And we have 1 dead winter wolf. Let me get my phone out and take a picture here. Let's see what we got here. So we're going to put this. There you go. This is the scene at hand. Nasty, nasty, nasty. Not fun at all. Okay, cool. We got a picture of this. So let me make a note here of what's going on. So I'm going to do this right here on this piece of paper. up top, and in the pit. Simple enough. Who's up top? Obscura, Zolaris, Eliphanisi, Renjar, Mercedes, Antola. Which Winter Wolf was this? I'll go back to our initiative checks. Where's our initiative list? Here it is. This is the one that was back that never got to attack. Winter Wolf 1, Winter Wolf 2, Winter Wolf 3, 2, Winter Wolf 3. Who's down in the pit? Faoltiarna in Winter Wolf form. Oh, that's nasty. And we've got 3 Winter Wolves that are at health number 23, 24, and 50. They're going to take 66 falling damage, okay? Might kill some of them. Let me finish making notes first, then I'll do the falling damage. So we have 3, and then the corpse that fell in, plus the Remorhaz, the Ancient Remorhaz. Alright, because I won't remember this in 3 days. Okay, and I'll do a posting tonight that lets people vote. I'll give people about a week to vote or something. Alright, so 66 damage. So let's just pull this over here. So the Remorhaz falls. He's going to take 66 damage. Or would he? He's damaged. I think he's going to try to withdraw. So he will withdraw and be able to climb the wall. So I'm going to have no damage on him. The first wolf falls. The second wolf falls. The third wolf falls. So let's do 66 damage. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this Winter Wolf is at 10. And the next Winter Wolf, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 from 23 is 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, he's almost dead. Probably break your back. The guy that's at 50 health. 50 health Winter Wolf, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's going to put him down to 37. So none of the Winter Wolves die, but they all land on top of it now for the Druid. Now when the Druid falls down, she's going to take 66 damage too. There's just no way around it, even though she's in Winter Wolf form. No way around it. No way around it. 10, 14, 15, 16. So our Druid's taking 16 damage out of her 80. And we're going to put that on here too. So that's 16 from 80 is what? 64? 64 health. And this guy's down to 10. This guy's down to 8. This guy's down to 37. Okay. So what I'm going to do, we're going to stop this episode right here. And everyone, you're going to get the chance to decide what do the players up top do. Okay? So you have, what do the players, what do they do? So that's going to be their decision. And I'll give you some options. So a decision point for the story for players. Here's what I think the options would be. Option number 1. Option number 1, jump down. Option number 2, stay. Option number 3, repel. All right? Repel means like take a rope and hook it up and go down and lower yourself down carefully. So let's write this on the back here. So option number 1, jump. Option number 2, stay. Option number 3 is repel. Now this is different. If you jump down, you're just blindly jumping. You're like, oh my god, my friend's falling, I have to help them. You know, you're just blindly jumping. If you stay, that means you can figure out, you can like yell down the hole, are you okay? And that kind of stuff, but no one can teleport or anything. And if you rappel down, that means you can quickly try to set up a rope, wrap it around this rock, and try to slide yourself down and take no damage. If you jump, you might take damage. You could even die from the fall, but it's unlikely for them. So that's the 3 options. We'll give this as a player choice, and I'll post that on the Patreon page, and you can decide what they do next. Very nasty fight. If you've seen the module before, you know this Remorhaz I've got on play is a lot stronger than it is in the original module. Let me just show you that for fun purposes. Here's the original module entry here. This is it right here. Okay? And you can see the stuff that's in there. So just slide this over a little bit for you. This is what's in the default module from a long time ago. Now, one thing I do is I max all the hit points of all the enemies because our players are heroic, they're epic, they're at max health. Well, so do the monsters. So all the enemies get max health. So this normal one here, here's what he would, they found a sword earlier, which is a giant slayer sword. They got the ring of 3 wishes, but they don't know that, so we're going to play it that way. Obscura's just got stuck in her pocket. Maybe she'll figure it out a month from now. Who knows? We'll just play that by fair. So the snow-covered dome of ice. This is being used as a layer for the Remorhaz, who's 30 feet long. Well, I made mine ancient. He's 45 feet long to make it harder. They had 58 hit points in the original Gygax version of the module. Sorry, 100 hit points. Okay. So there's a number of skeletons around its icy den, etc., etc., etc. This is really nasty. Now, another thing about the original module that is very interesting about this section, and let's go back to the map here. So remember, the players have a version of the map, and the map has this area. This is this area down here on the right, down here on the right-hand player's pane. This area here is interesting because on the original map in the original module, let's let you see what that really is. Okay, so let's just go to here. The original map, the original module. This is Area 30. Okay, you see this right here, Area 30. What is Area 30 on the first level of the rift? This is really nasty here. Area 30. An ice-coated sinkhole around 12 feet in diameter and 100 feet deep, which gives access to level 2, area 2. So I know what's down in the area below. I'm not going to tell you because it's something that can happen. We know there's some 2 very nasty things living down there. Because of Remorhaz, I'd change it to be where the Remorhaz is using this as a way to go down and scavenge for more food and look for other fun stuff. As like it's trying to find things to eat in the lower level because its upper level is very barren. So it's able to scurry and go down there. It's not just a straight drop down 100 feet. That would be 10 d6 damage roll. Instead, there's like a little ledge that lands on top of it because if you know the map from the original version of the game, this is the player map. Okay? So we're talking about an area that is right through here. Now, what does it say? It goes down to, let's pull this up right again. There we go. Access to Area 2 of the lower level. So Area 2 of the lower level is this area. Okay, so it's kind of confusing. This goes up, but the cave falls down. I'm going to have it tear down into this area too. So this is the thing that's tricky about this. Let's pull this back out of the way. That means this upper platform here is where everyone's landing. So they're landing on an upper platform. This is a brand new nasty encounter. The Remorhaz is able to scurry down here and land on the platform and run around in these internal caverns here and do things, more than likely down in here. It can't get past this boulder door here. So we're going to stop there. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. The episodes are always free. If you want to keep up to date what's happening or participate in the polls, you can do that. I'll post something on the Patreon page. The links to the Patreon page are always in the YouTube videos. If you want to get notifications when the episodes run, just subscribe to the Twitch channel. And we hope you had fun, and we'll see you again next time. And they got very lucky here. Someone could have got swallowed whole in a natural 20 and killed instantaneously. And I don't believe in resurrection anytime soon. There is one raised dead in the party. It would be very, very awkward to do that. All right. Hope you had fun, and we'll talk to you again real soon. This is Classic DM signing off for episode 5 of season 2, The Frozen Lake of Bones. Take care.